Homeschooling can be especially challenging, especially when there's babies or toddlers running around in your home. Hey there, friend. My name is Micah. You can find me on the blog Home Faith Family, where I teach time-tested solutions to help busy moms create a home filled with loving family connections, no matter your circumstances. In today's workshop, I'm going to be providing practical solutions on how to incorporate young children into the learning homeschool experience. Let me share a little bit more information about myself and my family. I am a wife, a homeschooling mother of 5 children from ages 10 down to almost 2 now. I've been homeschooling for the last couple of years, and it has been a wonderful learning experience, especially while trying to balance the learning objectives of my older children without sacrificing their educational goals or objectives while caring and trying to balance motherhood with babies and toddlers on my hips. All right, before we dive into solutions and advice and things that have worked really well for my family, I want to talk about some of the pitfalls where some homeschooling families may stumble. Some of the common pitfalls with homeschooling families where babies and toddlers are scattered as much as you guys have picture books and crayons everywhere include trying to do too much all at once or having unrealistic expectations of your abilities and trying to do everything. Now, what do I mean by that exactly, and what does that look like? The beautiful gift of a baby is everything tends to slow down. Things change a lot with the family dynamics. There's what you were able to do before the baby is born is not at all what you can do now that the baby is here, not without outside help. And I know for myself, my husband, as sweet as he is, helps where he can, but sometimes it's difficult to get more reinforced outside help beyond family members. And so expecting ourselves, especially as busy moms, as we are trying to maintain house and home and making sure everyone is comfortable and happy, trying to put upon ourselves an expectation that we can't meet. It causes us to go into a mindset where we feel like we are failing because we're not doing everything that we can. And so one of the pitfalls is realizing that when you have babies and toddlers, it's good to have that season of slow, and it's good to be able to not get everything done, in particular of checking those box off your list of to-dos, but more so realizing that what you are able to get done, whether it's snuggling with a baby, reading a book to a toddler, those small and little moments are what you needed to do, because those acts of love are an investment into that child where you will be able to reap the rewards of that gift and that blessing as they grow up, especially for years to come. But in the meantime, while you are trying to balance babies and toddlers and tweens and all the ages in between, let's talk about some practical solutions and systems that will help make life significantly easier for you, where you can get the most important things done that you need done and not feel like you're overwhelmed or drowning or behind while you try to maintain home learning and a balance of everything else as a busy mom and homemaker. Here are 8 tips and strategies that can help you successfully homeschool with young children in your house. Now, not all of these tips may apply to you in the season of life that you're in, but I do hope that you learn from each one of them and that you'll be able to find wisdom in how you can apply it into your own home and with your family. Tip number 1, get organized before you start homeschooling. Now, what do I mean by that? One of the best ways you can get yourself organized is create a lesson plan of learning events. So this might look different for some families. Something that I do in my home that is huge time saver. I plan out my children's lessons at least a week. If I do anything beyond that, it just gets lost, and I'm just like, no, we're changing, we're diverting, because a child's interest will change. They're going to have questions and they're going to have curiosities, and it's good to Have a plan where you're organized enough, but to be flexible enough where you can create or provide additional resources for your child that is learning. So what I do in my own home is I have my child's curriculums laid out. Any printables that I need to print, they're printed and ready to go. And I have a folder system where I plan for the coming week. So usually that Friday or Saturday, I plan for that coming week. And if Friday or Saturday is too late in the week, if you need an actual full week, do what works best for you and your schedule. But when you have a game plan and you know what it is your child needs to learn, and then you can gather those resources together, print out the printables that you need, come up with a goal or a game plan, you'll feel less stressed and less frazzled than trying to figure out, okay, what are they learning today? What can they do today? Let's just have a field trip day and go to the library, which we love in our family, by the way. Love library trips. Highly recommended. But being organized before you start homeschooling is going to save so much time, especially in the morning times. So when you plan out your lessons a week in advance and get everything organized, you know what your children are learning, you have a general idea of how you can help them, and maybe even begin to foreshadow where you feel like they might struggle with and provide additional help to them when they need it. But primarily, the reason why I love having these lessons organized is it saves you a ton of time. By planning a week ahead, you get everything done in a single day rather than planning it day by day. Number 2, choose the right curriculum for your family. The wonderful thing about homeschooling is every family is different. The curriculum that my family and I use and absolutely love might not be the same curriculum that you and your family use and love. I know for my home, we love digital printable curriculums. It's just easy to print and go. My kids absolutely love them. They love the coloring sheets. And if you're not sure what curriculum works best for you and your family, it's okay to test different curriculums. If you know you want to try a curriculum and it might be out of your price point, something that I recommend you do is take a look into Facebook Marketplace group, see if anyone is selling the curriculum, or going on eBay and seeing if anyone has a used curriculum where you can get the teacher's book from. And then from there, you can look through it. You're not paying full price for it. And you can utilize those lesson plans and see how your children learn from them and respond to them. Number 3, create a routine and stick to it. What does this look like? You don't have to have every minute of every day planned out. Please don't feel like you do. Having a routine is more than just saying from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. we're going to study literature, and from 10:15 to 10:45 we're going to be doing US history. It's more than time frames. It is a dependent schedule that you can use to give yourself guideposts to knowing what needs to be accomplished. One of the ways that this looks like for our family is I know that on Tuesdays, specifically in the afternoon, I try to get it in the afternoon, I clean the bathroom. I have a cousin in England and she teaches them lessons over Zoom about English history, Renaissance. They just learned about the Tudors. And when my children are occupied and learning from her, I'm able to go clean the bathroom. I'm able to wipe down the counters. I'm able to be close enough to hear them and to engage with them in their learning, but I'm able to quickly step aside and take care of some household chores. Now, not every Tuesday looks like that. Sometimes my cousin isn't able to teach her lesson. And so when that day happens, when I'm able to get to a point where my toddler or my newborn is taking a rest and taking a nap, I invite my children to read and enjoy quiet time where I can take care of some household chores, or I involve them in the cleaning and the housework progress. Not at the expense of their learning, mind you, but in learning life skills of this is how you clean a bathroom, this is how you do the dishes, this is how you bake muffins, and inviting them into a well-rounded education. So create a routine and stick to it. Mark down the days on your calendar when you're going to be visiting the library, museums, exhibits, and then mark down the days when you need to get certain household chores done. By just assigning a chore or a task to a day will give you the flexibility of leveraging that day to what your family needs to get those assignments done. Number 4, make learning fun for your kids. You can involve your little babies and your toddlers in the learning, especially with their older siblings. They absolutely love it. Not all learning is done in books. I absolutely love books, don't get me wrong. My children absolutely love books. They love their worksheets, they love reading, but a lot of the learning happens outside the home. For example, if you have nature trails or hiking around your area, go on that adventure. Take them outside, let them go explore. You can create scavenger hunt sheets for them. You can help them study biology. You can talk about the different ferns or the different plants. You can talk about the plant life cycle. There's so much opportunity for you to take even the smallest things in your child's day and help them create a learning opportunity for them. And so creating a learning environment that is fun is going to create lifelong learners in your own children. Number 5, take breaks through the day. It's okay to step back and say, this day is complete chaos. The baby's crying, the baby's teething, the toddler's, fussy, terrible twos, whatever it might be. And it's okay to say, let's have a reading day today. Let's get the books. For myself and my family, I grew up in the public school system, and so for me, my schedule was always that, 7 to 4, 7 to 3, you're at school, you're this class at this time, very militaristic marching styles of sorts. And to go from that to, say, a very unschooling approach where class doesn't have to start at the exact same time every day. You don't have to be in a math notebook for 45 minutes every day. That first year of homeschooling was really, really tough. And I talk more about it in my YouTube channel, which if you find me on YouTube, it's Home Faith Family. And I have a video on there where I talk about unschooling and the difference between public and homeschool life. And one of the things that I came to realize very quickly is on those days of stress and chaos, it is okay to step back and say, let's have a quiet learning day. Let's have a reading day. Let's have a reflective day and a meditation day, because it teaches your children to take those periods of rest and to be able to process what they have been learning and apply it to their everyday life. And it's good to teach them that, because in a world that glorifies and values busyness in a schedule and overschedules us so quickly if we're not careful, it is so important for us to step back and to reflect and say, this is what needs to be done. My children need me in this role today. My children need me as a mother. My children need me to go over and to teach them this theory or concept. Whatever it might be, whatever role you need to fill for that day, it's okay to do that. And then it's okay to take a break and let it sink in. Number 6, teach multiple subjects whenever you can. And I know that sounds a little contradictory, where we're trying to teach simplifying and how to homeschool with babies and toddlers, and I tell you in number 6, teach multiple things when you can. And I promise it's easier than you think. A lot of the multiple subjects isn't going to be done in workbooks. It's actually going to be done in life skill lessons. One of the things that my children love doing and that we have the opportunity to do every winter is bake. A lot of baking. Baking not only teaches science when they see the reaction between the baking soda and the vinegar, it also teaches math, because in a family where there's 7 of us and we are baking cookies for the families that we minister to in our church, we're baking a lot and we end up doubling or even quadrupling the recipes. And so to be able to tell my children, okay, we need a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, but we're doubling the recipe, how much sugar do we need? They're able to quickly figure that out. Oh, we need 1/2 cup. Great, let's get the 1/2 cup. And so baking teaches the science, it teaches the math, it teaches the process of taking raw materials and making it and creating it into something beautiful. And it also teaches service, especially when you go out and deliver the cookies and your baked goods to your neighbors and family and friends. And so teaching multiple subjects isn't done so much in workbooks as much as it is in teaching life skills and trying to find opportunities to teach your children throughout the day, all day long. I know sometimes, especially for doing dishes or cleaning the house, I know sometimes it's hard because we just want to be alone with our thoughts and decompress. And our child might come in and say, "Hey, mom, I have a question about this," or "I read this in a book." And it might be so easy. And I know I've done it myself where you give a short answer and, "Oh, it's this, and that." And then they're on their way. Well, I have to remind myself that those are missed opportunities to really teach them a lesson, whether it's a lesson in a life skill or a lesson that they're learning from. For example, my 10-year-old came in and she made a comment about a passage in a book that she was reading. And my initial reaction was to say, "Oh, that's nice. That's good. What did you learn from it?" But I stopped, listened to what she had to say, and then asked her a follow-up question and asked her, "Well, what does that teach you about kindness?" And trying to ask her questions to lead in her own learning was a great teaching moment for her, and utilizing the mundane and the everyday moments to help your child learn is going to be so important for you while you balance taking care of your babies and your toddlers and your little ones that you have running underfoot. Okay, we're on the last two. Let's talk about number 7. Let your kids explore their interests. The wonderful gift about homeschooling is if your child has an interest in something, let them learn. Let them explore, check out books from the library for it, let them read. One of the great things about having older kids when you're homeschooling them is that you're teaching them how to be independent learners. Yes, you are giving them the assignments and you are creating the lesson plans or preparing the lesson plans, but you're also creating opportunities for them to flex their own learning muscles. If they say that they have an interest in aviation, or they came across a science experiment or a fact from their current learning book, and they say, "Hey, I would like to learn more about that," then they can. You're there as a resource and a guide to help them, but then they're flexing their own learning muscles and searching out information and learning more about that particular subject. And then you can ask them some really great follow-up questions. All right, last one, number 8. Encourage independence and creativity. Trying to balance a baby and little toddlers is a great opportunity for older kids to learn that learning independence and to get creative with their learning. One of the great things about creative learning is toddlers love doing creative learning. They might not understand what's happening, but they know that their older brothers and sisters are having fun and they want to be a part of that fun. And so you can create a safe home environment where science experiments can be done, art projects can be completed, and you can involve your toddler in a lot of the learning that is happening in your own home. So by creating a home environment where learning happens naturally, where you work around the schedules of your babies and toddlers and where you involve them in the learning process, you will be able to create a home learning environment that does not feel like a chore, where learning thrives and your children fall in love with learning. All right, by following these tips, you'll be able to create that home learning environment. You can also visit the Home Faith Family website where you will find free letter worksheets to keep your toddler's hands busy. You'll also find other printables to help with your little ones as well in their learning journey and experience. All right, friend, I wish you all the best. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram as well and DM me if you have any questions or if I can provide any support to you and your family in your homeschooling journey. Take care.